All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to finish off supply. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to talk about several things, and specifically like subsidies and government regulations. Okay, so uh, so the today we're going to analyze the why technology would make supply shift a certain way. Okay. And in this, we're going to talk about certain things, stuff you may have heard, stuff like myths and legend. People say about the economy and things like that. So one of them is about technology. Then we're going to examine what subsidies are and do they work. Okay. And we're going to create an argument on whether government regulation is a good thing or a bad thing. Okay. So here is your warm-up picture. So the first question asks you, um, you know, what do you notice? Analyze the picture, and what do you notice the difference between the big agribiz and the small farms? All right, so look at it. What do you notice about the difference between them? And not just the obvious, but some of the, look for the kind of subtle things too, if you notice between the bigger farms and the small farms. Um, and then the second question asks you, why do you think to basically make a prediction, why do you think the small farms don't get what the big farms get? Okay, so what do you think? Why do you think they don't? Okay, so go ahead, respond to the questions. If you are not done yet, you pause the video, but we're moving on in three, two, one. All right, so really quickly, we're going to zip through this thing. The cost inputs, this supply might increase because of a decrease in the cost of outputs. So things that are basically what you need standard, like labor, you know, the that's a standard thing. You need someone in the company doing something to create the product, whatever it may be. Um, Now the thing is, some people say that if you raise the price of minimum wage, that's going to raise the price of products. That's a yes and no. Okay. Because the thing is, you have to remember this. There's some places that they don't charge or they don't pay people just the minimum wage. They pay them over, you know. So things that they make, it's not going to really affect them. Okay. Um, some places that they continuously pay people a minimum wage, and they try to keep them there as much as they can. Some of those places they try to keep a profit. Yeah, they'll raise the prices and things like that, but that just lets you know um, that's what their main goal is. You know, it's not to be competitive. Trying to keep the price lower, things like that. It's about making money, which again is what I told you businesses are about. It's about making money. And like I've said before, I don't care what they say. People say like, "Oh no, they're trying to make jobs and things." No, no. If they did, then they wouldn't be worrying about paying more the workers more money, um, and at the same time making sure that the prices don't go up. If they really cared, they would do that, but they don't. They want to pay their workers less and keep the prices here. And if the minimum wage goes up, they're going to raise their prices because again, they want to keep that profit. But like I said, there's some places that don't. Places like I believe Chick-fil-A, In and Out. Minimum wages here, they pay their workers up here, right? So if the minimum wage goes up here, they still pay their people higher. So they're not going to really see a difference because their workers are above minimum wage. And if you notice, those places, um, the workers work fast, they work well, they're smiling, this and that, because they get paid very well, and they get benefits and things like that. So they want to keep their job. So if they have to put a smile and do that kind of stuff, they'll do it. because they're getting the benefits, they're getting the pay. So yeah, they want to keep their job. Another thing that you might hear is technology. Okay, now technology always shifts the supply line to the right. Businesses love technology. It makes things a lot of times more cost efficient. It makes things go by smoother, And this is another thing too. You hear a lot of people say about if you raise the minimum wage, the companies will fire the people, and then they'll get technology to take care of that whatever the job may be. Okay, here's the thing: businesses would replace you in a heartbeat if the machine could do what you can do. All right, there's been machines making cars since like the 1970s, even before that. Why? Because machines don't need to take breaks. They don't get sick, don't get injured. They don't have to worry about paying it overtime, sick leave, putting into 401k and all that kind of stuff. They're not going to worry about that kind of things. They don't. The only thing they have to worry about is the machine breaking down. Then fix it. Boom, there you go. Or replace it. Something better. You know. So I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The dad had the job putting the cap on the toothpaste. Then they brought in the machine. Once the company started really making money, they brought in the machine to do it like that, faster, quicker than the dad could. So again, that argument that companies are going to hire machines if they raise the minimum wage and stuff like that, it's pure baloney. Like I said, anything to save a nickel, companies will do. And if that includes getting rid of a person to have a machine do it, they'll do it. All right. So subsidies is a government payment to an individual, a business, or a group to encourage or protect a certain type of economic activity. A lot of times, especially with stuff like oil, gasoline, they give subsidies to try to keep that price of like gas at a certain level. They don't want it to be too high. As for farms, it's like growing specific stuff. You know, um, let's say they want to have an excess of corn because corn, hey, you can use multiple things. Corn syrup, just eat corn straight up. Use it for other products. Um, or they just want to lower the price of it. So they tell farms, hey, you make a bunch of corn, we'll pay you for it. The price is going to drop, you know, but we'll reimburse you. We'll take care of you. Just grow corn so that the price can drop down than what it is right now. So farms will do that. They'll do that with any crop, needs to get done. You know. So that's where like this thing with the farm bill comes in play. But the thing is, there's a lot of farms that are associated with businesses. Whether it's dairy or plants and stuff like that, um, they are associated with them. So they listen to the company. The company tells them, you need to make more of this. You know, we need this crop by this time. You know, pick it, do what you got to do. You know, oh, you need to make it bigger. You know, the pounds of it and stuff like that. It's not right, so you need to make it bigger. So they have to listen to these companies because they are, in a sense, part of them. All right, so really quickly, this is a subsidy chart. This one's pretty old. I think believe it's like 5 or 6 years old. Um, but the thing is, it's about energy. Okay, so you got the carbon capture and storage. The companies, they get like a 2.3 billion dollar subsidy for that. Renewable energy, solar panels, the wind turbines, stuff like that, they get $12.2 billion. And like I was just telling you about corn, the farmers and that stuff, make it into ethanol, which is a kind of a substitute for gas. $16.8 billion. But the biggest chunk goes to the oil industry. they get $70.2 billion in subsidies. And you can see right there, a lot of it is tax breaks. You know, they drill a certain place, they get taxed by that state. Whether it's Texas, California, whatever, Louisiana, and then the government basically like gives them a receipt or gives them a tax break, saying, yeah, if you drill there, will and the state charges you, we'll reimburse you, we'll give you money, and stuff like that. So, like I said, the subsidies, yeah, they do good things, but also that money could go to other stuff. Um, so, my question to you is, what do you think would happen if government stopped giving oil, corporate farms, and other large industries subsidies? To encourage to make more stuff so that the price goes lower. To make sure that the gas price stays a certain level. Um, how would that affect us? What do you think these companies would do? Or how would the price be if they didn't get subsidies? You know, would the price of stuff go better? But hey, now the schools, roads can be fixed and things like that. Because again, that's billions of dollars that's being spent on just subsidies for that industry, which is just energy. And you could just imagine all the other subsidies that companies get, corporations and things like that. Okay, so you tell me, what do you think? What do you believe? Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, but we're moving on in three, two, one. So expectations. This is something again, a future price of a product. This is only used by you looking at the data, using the information, what's available, and then making like a kind of sense of a prediction. You know. Now, as you can see from this chart, there's S1, S3, and S2. Um, when a producer thinks that the price is going to go high on something, for whatever reason, the cost of the material needed to make the product, it's going to go higher. The likelihood that, hey, something might happen, the trend might go away, that's going to shift it to the left. Okay, anything bad that could happen to the company, to the product, it's going to shift it to the left. Okay, now anything good, lower stuff in price, if something is being favored, technology is now in the mix, the line's going to go to the right. It's going to go from S1 to S2 when things are good. When it goes bad, from S1 to S3. Okay. Um, and again, when things go to S2, these companies, they want to sell their product right away, um, because you have to remember, people might buy it, the hype might be there to buy it, and all of a sudden it might go away. You know, and then hey, they made their money. You know, so that's the thing. They want to, if the hype's there, they want to push it out so the demand for the item is there. They just want to get it out there so people can buy it. Okay. So here's your next question. Think of something that would make the price of supplies go up or down. All right. What did you come up with? Now, I know that alone might be kind of like a hard question to answer. So I'll give you a little hint here. Um, I want you to think of something, you know, that you use every day, your phone, your PlayStation, Xbox, computer, you know, is everything that makes up that product, is that sold here? Is it made here in the US? Chances are no, it's not. It's made in other places around the world, things like that. And then think about what happens in these other countries. Is everything hunky dory around the world? Is everything peachy? No, it's usually not. There's a lot of things going on. So, what would make the price of the stuff go up? Now, again, I'm not talking about the actual product, like this computer I have right here in front of me. I'm talking about the components, you know, the motherboard, the hard drive, the circuitry, you know, all that stuff. It has to go from one place to another, and things like that. So, what could happen to these countries, these different countries where all this stuff is made, you know? Or even if it's in the country itself, what might happen within a country that might make the price of things go up or down? Typically, you want to think about stuff, the prices going up, because it's a lot easier to think of bad things that happen than good. Okay, so go ahead, answer the question. But we're moving on in three, two, one. All right, so government regulations. Now, the thing is, the government may have an issue with the product, whatever it may be, and this can affect a cause and change in supply. Now, here's the thing. Um, Back in the day, the government really didn't look into businesses and see what they were doing and stuff like that. But there was a thing in the 1880s. Um, there was a book called The Jungle. Basically, this guy was at the meat packing industry and seeing what they were doing. And what he saw just was like revolting, and people did some investigating too. They found that people, they had these big containers of meat and they would like fall on the floor where people were walking and some of that, where rats and bugs were, and they just picked it up, put it back inside the container, and kept walking. Um, there's another one where a rat was on a beam, a metal beam, and it fell into a meat grinder. And while the rat's trying to, get out and this and that, it can't, and it's being sucked in, and all that meat and some of that is being grounded up, and the rat got grounded up with the meat. So somebody ate that, you know. Another time they said that they found like meat that was like green or gray, so obviously it was bad. What they did was cut it and tossed it in with the fresh meat. So people were eating meat that was already really old, you know. It happened. So because of that, the USDA came in. That was a government agency that was created so that they made sure that the food you eat um, is good. All right, and they even check medicines and things like that. So that's why if you ever look at like if you ever get Tylenol or something like that, um, they have that little label stuff on it. Don't use if it's open, things like that. Um, and they have that little seal, on and after you take off the top seal, you open the cap. There's another seal. That's something that the USDA made sure that they did. Yeah, because in the 80s, I believe it was the 80s, um, somebody like slipped some poison inside like a Tylenol, you know, and somebody died, and they're like, well, how come this company didn't do anything to prevent that? So that's why they do that thing with the seal, two seals, the actual one on the bottle and the cap. So if you see it, no, you don't see a seal, you know it's been tampered with. Okay. Um, Higher and tighter government regulation. A lot of companies don't like that. They don't like the government looking over their shoulder. Me personally, I'm like, hey, well, are you doing anything shady? Then you shouldn't mind. You shouldn't care. You know, if you're not doing anything wrong, they're doing their job to make sure that people like you and me aren't being cheated, that we are not being poisoned in any which way, that everything's on the up and up, and what you're eating, what you're taking into your body is safe. So I'm all for it. That's me personally. Okay. Another last thing about supply is that not every single business wants your money. Okay. Now I know I said about business, all they care about is money. That's their number one thing. That is true still. But the thing is, some places go for a certain clientele. Okay. There's a place, there's an island, private island, that has this right here. It's an underground, um, undersea restaurant. Okay, you have to take like a private plane over there, you know. And when if you go there, the thing I found was the cheapest thing on the menu, which is probably like maybe some like a couple baby carrots and a mozzarella stick, was $320. Can you just imagine how much a lobster or a steak might cost there? It'd be like in the thousands, you know? But that's the thing. They want a specific clientele, specific group of people, which is rich people. They don't care about you and me. They don't care about us. They're only focused on these people. Is that fair? Eh, I guess not. But, you know, honestly, I wouldn't want to pay, $320 for, no, heck no, forget that. For an appetizer? No. Now, the other thing is some businesses are like McDonald's, where they have like a dollar menu where just about anybody can get something from there. Here where I'm at in Tulare, I've seen a bunch of homeless people, have, several bucks and are able to buy a couple things from the dollar menu. Because again, McDonald's, that's a company that take anybody, rich, poor, it doesn't matter if you're in between. You have money? What do you want? We got this. You're welcome to come in. This place, this underground place, no, no, unless you have money, get away. Okay. So again, not every business um, goes for everybody's money. Some places are very like not strict, but just selective on who can come into their business. Okay. All right. So here's my question to you. Do you think that government regulation or oversight is a good thing or a bad thing, and why? All right. So you tell me, what do you think? Okay. Go ahead and write your response, but we're moving on in three, two, one. So here's the thing. There, last time no, a couple weeks ago, we talked about elastic and inelastic for demand, right? Elastic is um, well, something costs this much, I'm going to buy that much, right? I'm going to buy this much, okay? But prices are high, I'm going to buy this much. I don't need it right now. I can wait till later, So I don't know if you remember that or not. Elastic, whether the price is low, you're going to buy more. If the price is too high, you're going to buy less, okay? And um, inelastic it's something that's set. It doesn't matter how low the price goes or how high it gets, you're going to buy the same amount. Same thing works in reverse, but with supply. All right. Um, the company, when the prices goes high or low, they might change how much they're going to let out, right? And then there's some things that are just like it's going to be standard no matter what the price is. They're going to buy the same product, they're going to release it at the same price, things like that. So it doesn't matter for inelastic, it's set. Elastic, it varies due to price. Okay. All right, now it's your exit ticket question. The first one is, what are some benefits for corporations to use technology? What's the benefit to it? How does that benefit them? How does it make their company better? How does it make them more money? Okay. The second one is, can you think of any corporation or industry that could really use subsidies? Okay. Now I know this one's a little bit more tougher, but the thing is, I know you guys can answer it. You guys are pretty smart. Um, so can you think of any type of corporation or industry that could use some subsidies, can use some help from the government, you know? that the government can give them some money to encourage them to make more of a product, make less of a product, um, to keep the price, at a certain level, you know. Okay, so pick one of those. Once you do and you finish it, you're done for this class. All right, so good job. Okay, uh, hopefully you learned something new. We'll be starting a new section next week. Okay, so you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later.